Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Confessions of a Gaming Mum. So yeah, it's been a couple of weeks since my last video, and as you can probably tell from my slightly croaky voice still, the reason for that is that Bubs and myself have basically been suffering from a really serious case of summer sniffles. So a lot of snot, a lot of coughing, a lot of tears as well from both of us, because we've just been feeling really rough over the last few weeks. He's missed a lot of his classes as well, which really annoyed me because one, obviously it's a waste of money because you have to prepay for them in advance, but also it sucks for him because he has to miss out on all these, like seeing all his friends and going, like getting out of the house and stuff. So we're finally out of quarantine and I can finally see if I can get back into normal routine of actually making videos once a week. Although he's currently making it as difficult as possible because he's now started to pull himself up on the furniture, so he likes to be able to stand up all the time. So I'm constantly having to leap to his rescue to make sure he doesn't fall flat on his face or flat on his back or whatever. So yeah, he's entering that fun stage where, yeah, I don't really have 5 minutes to myself anymore. So making the videos once a week is even more of a challenge now, so we'll just have to see how we get on. Anyway, the topic of the video today, as you've probably seen from the title, is my review of the new Lion King movie. I was lucky enough to go to a early screening of it, including a Q&A with some of the cast and crew. My husband is a member of BAFTA. If you don't know who BAFTA are, they're basically like the British version of the Oscars. So yeah, we get to go to a lot of like screenings, or we get screeners through of movies, because then he gets to vote on the actual awards and stuff, which is all really exciting, especially when you get to, because we sometimes go to the awards as well. It's a lot of money, but it's definitely worth it when we can afford to go. But yeah, we didn't actually go to any screenings last year because obviously around the time that BAFTA sort of screenings take place is like November, December time, and obviously I had Bubs in September, which meant that he'd just been born. I couldn't really leave him with anyone, especially because I was breastfeeding and stuff. So this is the first screener we've actually been to in a very long time, so it was really nice for us both to go along to it. It was a late night, but it was definitely worth it. So yeah, I just thought I'd talk about the film and also a little bit about the Q&A as well. So my initial sort of idea of the film, I mean, I went into it, I didn't watch, I was in two minds about watching the original before we actually went to see it, because I was thinking, well, I want to refresh my mind and get that enthusiasm back that I had for the original when it first came out. But then I was also of the same mind that if it's going to be different, then I'm going to have a negative view towards it, so I'd rather go in with like as clear a mind as possible and just see this film individually for what it is rather than comparing it to the original. So yeah, I decided not to watch it, and still, even though when we saw the beginning of it, I'm going to try and keep this as spoiler free as possible, but I apologise if I spill too much. I'll try not to. But yeah, like the first when they play the Circle of Life at the beginning, like the song The Circle of Life, and it's basically scene for scene to the original, but obviously updated. And I just remember I was sat there, I was so emotional when I was just like, oh my god, this is so beautiful, they've done it so well. And the music was still absolutely stunning, so I think that was a big thing for me, because the music from the original and in the new one is done by Hans Zimmer, and I'm such a massive fangirl for Hans Zimmer. Pretty much all my favourite films he's done the soundtrack to, so I have so much of his music like in my collection, and I'm just absolutely just a massive fan of his. So he was actually there at the Q&A as well, so that was a real sort of star-struck moment for me to actually see this guy in the flesh, this absolute genius, and the sort of like the music that I just absolutely love, and its creator was right there. But yeah, I'm digressing again. But yeah, the beginning, they just nailed it. It was just so well done, and like when they lift Simba up at the beginning, and it was just so cute, this little fluffy ball. It was just it was so good just seeing it, and just seeing all the animals just look so realistic. I'm gonna reference like to the Q&A, because obviously there was a lot of kids in the audience, and one of the questions that was asked by one of the kids was, are any of the animals actually real in this? Is any of it real? And the director, Jon Favreau, actually said, he was like, no, none of the animals, none of the background, none of like the landscape, nothing in this film is real. It's all animation, it's all digital effects. And it's when you actually watch the film, it's so difficult to believe that, because they have nailed those animals. Like, it's fantastic how they've done it. It's so good, so realistic. It really knocks you back, I think, just seeing how far the technology has come. I mean, I was joking with my husband after the film, thinking like, oh, in 10 years time we're going to look back at it and just be like, oh my god, it looks so dated now, I can't believe we thought these look real. But yeah, it looked absolutely stunning. Just like I said, the animals were just spot on, and like, because I believed that, like, I thought, well, maybe the lions are animated, but like the other animals that don't really have a speaking part, maybe they're actual, like they've taken a few shots of those animals and then sort of expanded on that or something. But no, it's all fake. None of that in it's real. Apparently there's one shot, this is according to Jon Favreau, there's one shot in the entire film that is real. So and he said until the film's been out a while, he's not actually going to say what that shot is. So I'm going to be keeping an eye out for interviews with him to see what he actually says is the real part of it. Because we're not sure on what we think. I think my husband was saying he thinks it might be like a matte painting, might have been used as the background for Pride Rock. But again, until Jon Favreau actually says what it is, we won't actually know. But yeah, I just couldn't get over how stunning and realistic the film was. Like, the water effects were just absolutely stunning. The way the wind blew through the mane of the lions, and like every so often their ears would flick or their tail would swish, just like just randomly. The way they did it was it's these little touches that just made it so realistic. I think the problem with this is where I do a big but, but the problem with the animals being so realistic is that they don't have the characteristics in, like, facially wise, that you get in the original. So obviously in the original you get that lion smile, raise an eyebrow, and like a wink and things like that, and like all the other characters like Zazu and Timon and Pumbaa, and like, so you get those characteristics, those individual characteristics, and they're able to show emotion on their face. But in this, because they're so realistic, they don't actually get to do that. They're restricted by what a lion or what that animal can actually do. So like, one of the reviews we actually saw before we went to see the film was about the fact that it felt unnatural with the songs, because like I think for me there was two songs that were particularly not great in it, because of the way that they can't express themselves through their face, and that was Can't Wait to Be King. It just didn't feel right. It was just because he can't show emotion, he can't smile, he can't be cheeky, he can't have that cheeky grin, so he's just a sort of lion cub just pouncing around. I mean, that's cute enough, but it just doesn't go with the song. And the other song, which to me was completely butchered, and it's one of my favourite songs from the film, so I was quite upset about it, was Be Prepared. I was really looking forward to it, and yeah, they just completely butchered it. Like, it was picking up, and then I was like, yeah, they're gonna get into it. Oh, and it's over. it was just one of those moments, and I was kind of like, oh, really disappointed. And that's another thing, they really, I don't think, made enough use of the hyenas. They made them quite dark and quite serious. There was a few sort of comedic moments, but other than that, they were quite a dark and serious enemy. So obviously you have Scar as the enemy, but also, yeah, the hyenas were quite a serious threat as well. When obviously in the original, yeah, they were part of the serious threat, but they weren't as serious. You had the sort of comic trio between them, and that's gone, which I was a bit disappointed about, because I loved the hyenas in the original. I thought they were fantastic. Although I have to say, Timon and Pumbaa in the new one are absolutely brilliant. Seth Rogen and Billy Eichner as Timon and Pumbaa were absolutely fantastic, like really bounced off each other, really good. And again, they were at the Q&A, and it was nice to hear that a lot of what, I think actually pretty much all of their footage that you see in the film was actually improv. So like, John just let them just bounce off each other and just see what they could come up with. And there's stuff that, like Seth was saying, you've got all these funny jokes that everyone laughed at in the original, but if you know they're coming, and then it's not so funny. So it was good, because you'd have that whole thing of, oh, I know what's coming next, so I know that that's funny. but they twist it in a way that it surprises you, because it's the similar sort of joke, but it's got a different twist on it, and it's just really funny how they do it. Yeah, they I think Timon and Pumbaa were probably like the highlight of the film for me, especially Timon. I think he was probably the one animal that, even though again he didn't really show expression because meerkats don't show expression, but it was the I think it's just the movements and everything that, and just the way he talked, that it just made him really funny. And obviously Pumbaa's just like full of fart jokes and everything, but they were both really good. To be honest, all the actors were really good. I was actually surprised. I was a bit cynical of them having Beyonce in it. I thought, oh no, she's only in there because of her name, but she was actually quite good, even though I guess her part was quite small, because where she plays Adok Nala, so she weren't as big a part as like she could be. But no, everyone was really good. And again, that was a nice thing that I found out from the Q&A, was the fact that I thought they'd just lent their voices to the characters, but it turns out that they actually acted them as well, like almost like mocap sort of thing, so they could act out the scene in front of them, and it just gave the animators just something to work with when it came to building the characters. So that was another interesting, like I said, an interesting thing to find out. I have to say, even though I love Chiwetel Ejiofor, who plays Scar in the new film, I'm a really big fan of his work ever since saw him in 12 Years a Slave, and he was fantastic as Scar, like really good. You've got like that sort of sinister, evil characteristic about him, and Scar, like, he looked absolutely gorgeous on screen. He looked absolutely amazing. Yeah, he looked absolutely gorgeous on screen. It was like amazing to see him, but I just have to say he doesn't hold a patch to Jeremy Irons as the original Scar, because he just had that sort of just stereotypical villain-esque aura about him, and just the way he was so dry with his humour, and it was just you couldn't be him. But Chiwetel Ejiofor makes a character his own, and I think that's how people have to go into this film when they go to see it. Do not compare it to the original, because if you compare it to the original, you will be disappointed. You have to see it in its own film and try to forget what you've seen in the original, because I think again that was the thing, like they've kept some of the script and like some of the wording and different things that people say, they've kept that in the film, but then they've also changed some of it, and some of the bits that they've changed make more sense and it actually improves the script, but then there's other bits that it's like, why couldn't you have just kept like it sounded better in the original sort of thing. So yeah, so it's definitely worth just going into this film with an open mind and just trying not to compare it to the original as much as you can. I mean, like I said, I was trying to go with an open mind, but then there were things like, that was better in the original, and I hated the fact that I was doing that. I really didn't want to have to do that. But I'm going to compare the music as well to the original, because again, that was just Hans Zimmer, and as he said, he loved the opportunity to be able to go back to his original score and improve it, although I don't actually see what needed improving, because it was just absolutely amazing. Like, to me, the score always made the film, like it made the original, and it makes this film. If the animals can't bring forward the emotion and the actors can't bring forward the emotion, then the music just nails it. Like the stampede, like my heart was in my mouth with the stampede. It was beautifully done, and seeing it on a big screen and like with the vibration of like the bass with the stampede just coming down the gorge, and obviously with Hans Zimmer's score in the background, it was just immense. It was just so fantastic. And again, when obviously, spoilers, Mufasa dies and Simba finds him, again, I don't think I could really warm up to Simba as a character because he didn't show the emotion in his face. I mean, you do feel through because he's this little cub and he's just going through all this horrible stuff, but because like when he just can't show that emotion that he could in the original, and I think it just stilted it a bit for me in terms of the sympathy and the empathy that you can feel for a character if they don't show any emotion on their face. So obviously I don't want to spoil it too much for people, so like I said, I think in general the whole thing it's a fantastic film and you should definitely go and see it. Don't compare it too much to the original though. Don't watch the original just before you go to see it, because you will be comparing it. But yeah, go in with an open mind and remember that, like I said, the animals look absolutely fantastic. They look so realistic, but because of that, it means they can't show the emotion that we're used to when it comes to actual cartoon characters. So you have to bear that in mind. And like I said, it spoiled the music, like the songs are, like, for me, the music is just on its own. It just that just surpasses everything. It was just absolutely fantastic. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what other people think of it, and those that have seen it already, or those that are looking forward to seeing it, or those that are massive fans of the original, and if you're going to go and see it and compare it and stuff. Because I don't really know what else I can say about it really. The Q&A was absolutely brilliant. It's always so good to hear like what the cast and the crew have to say. And especially Jon Favreau, he has so much to say about it. It was such a big passion project for him, and just listening to him talk about like just everything that they did, like 3 years of just creating these animals from scratch, and yeah, just like going on about the music and like getting Hans Zimmer in and his band and stuff. It was just really good fun, and it's really good having the kids in the audience. I always love when you have kids in a Q&A, because they always come out with the best questions. And that's we were right at the front of the cinema, basically right in front of everyone, like the cast and crew. And we actually had Seth say to Chiwetel about like one of the young girls in the front asking a really good question. He basically, well, why is it always the kids that ask the best questions? Because yeah, there was like I said, one of them asked if any of the animals were real, and the other one was the girl that was sat next to me asked why is it that all the evil guys are British? It always seems to be the way that it's always the villains that are British. I mean, I always thought that like when I was younger, but I just never said anything. She came out and said it, and I was like, yeah. I think it's changing a bit more now, but it was always the way when I was younger, that it was always a British person or European that was an evil guy in an American movie. I think it's just because we're better calibre of actors, to be fair, more classically trained in theatre, etc. That's what I'm going to go with anyway. But Jon Favreau did say we needed a revolution in casting when it comes to British people just playing villains all the time. We'll see. But as my son has, I think, just woken up from his nap, I think it's probably time for me to go. And as you can probably hear from my nose, I really do need to just go and blow my nose right now. Anyway, it's good to be back, and I hope I can keep up these weekly vlogs. I've got another review coming hopefully next week. I've been working on it for weeks. Again, I took a break from it because I was really ill, and because it's a bit complicated to try and put things together. It's taking longer than I thought it would, and hopefully the software can actually handle it and my computer can actually handle it, so we'll see. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. I'd really appreciate it if you like, subscribe and share this video. Also comment below as well if you've seen the film, or if you're looking forward to seeing it. What are you most looking forward to? What was your worst part if you have seen it? Just really interested to hear what you guys think. So yeah, it's been lovely talking to you, and I shall see you all in the next video. Bye!